two things. There's a 3-part video training series that you put out, which is a precursor to this online course, which you just launched last Monday.
Yes.
On the 30th, and it's called, quote, How to Authentically Market to the Gay Community. Tell us about that.
So the book since it came out in April, it's been a huge success. And yes, and it's been great. And I have tons of people who are just saying, it's speaking to me as if you're my friend and you're just trying to walk me through how to market in an authentic way. Mm-hmm. But what happened is that I have a lot of people coming back to me and saying, well, is there something more than that? And so that's kind of the roadmap, whereas the course is the tactical execution of it. So it walks you through all of the communications do's and don'ts, because there's a lot of them. I go through many, many of them. I give you statistics and overview of what the community looks like, the buying power, all that great stuff. And then it actually goes into building a marketing plan. So someone, a business owner or maybe some kind of professional who has no marketing knowledge whatsoever, at the end of taking the course, you actually have a plan that you can tactically execute on. That's excellent, Jen.
I mean, because actually it's sort of like marketing 101 and 201 and 301 and 401 when you're looking at the market segmentation, statistical penetration, and all the rest of that stuff. And you're saying that that's the roadmap.
It is. I include everything. I even have a tutorial of how to use US Census data to actually identify what your geographic reach is for LGBT people in your area.
Okay, so at the pragmatic level, I mean, the application of this is if I have a product that I want to market to the LGBT community, I have a guideline that I can use for my expected penetration of the market.
Absolutely. That was what its intention was.
That's great. What I was going to ask this question after, but while I'm there, I'll ask it now, Jen. You used the word, you went out of your way to use this word, authentically market. What does that mean?
So I have a process that I use when I'm weeding out clients or potential clients. So if you were to come to me as a business owner and say, hey, I want to market to the gay community, my first question is going to be to you is, what is your why? Why do you want to do it? And based on what your answer is, we'll get to the bottom of whether or not I would want to put my reputation alongside of your business. Because there's a lot of people out there who say, oh, the LGBT community is $790 billion, and that is B, billion with a B. And they just want to market to the community because they think that there's a lot of money to be had. And if that's your approach, it's not going to work. It's very point blank simple. There's a lot of studies and data that back up the inauthentic approach and how it's not going to work. So why spend thousands of dollars if you're just doing it because you just want the gay dollar, is actually commonly what it's referred to as. So when you tell me what your why is, we can start to craft and build a story around that, which brings in that authenticity piece.
Okay,
you have to be authentic.
So that if you and I were having that conversation, one of the normal first business responses would be, you know what? What's the number of, what's the market number?
$790 billion.
$790 billion. So I look at you and I say, you know what, Jen? I mean, there's a part of me that says, if I capture 1% of that market, I'm in $7 billion, right? And you're saying it's much more than just the business math of it.
Yes, the business math, of course, plays a huge piece of it. I'm a business owner. I'm here to make money. Of course, I do this for all genuine and authentic reasons because I want to help the community. But at the end of the day, you have to make money off of it. That's just, business 101. So you could tell me that, yeah, I see that there's a lucrative market opportunity. I say that's great. But then the next question is going to be, well, why do you care about the community? What does it have to do with your life in any way, shape, or form? It could be that your son or daughter is gay or lesbian. It could be someone that you were working with in a previous career who you had, you watched them struggle in their career or be discriminated against. And you want to make sure that your company is built upon a non-discriminating environment. And that's an amazing why, and that's a great reason for why you'd want to do it. And that authenticity would show through in all of your outreach, very naturally.
There's another phrase that you used along the way when I was reading for the interview, and you said that many times people use the language, I'm going after the diverse community. And you said, well, there is such a thing as a diverse community. But you also said, what was the other word you used?
Inclusion.
That there's inclusion-based as opposed to diversity-based.
Yes.
I thought it was a great way of expressing the following, which is what? Differentiate for us, Jen.
So this is what happens with a lot of companies who want to market to the community. They will go out of their way to put ads in LGBT media and publications, which is great, you have to do it.
Yeah.
But to really show that you're authentic and transparent in what you're doing, you need to be doing it in other forms of media as well. So you need to be doing it in not necessarily a Time magazine, but in the Hartford Courant versus the Rainbow Times. And the Rainbow Times is an LGBT publication. So you want to be making sure that you're doing it in both places. So the inclusion piece is just including LGBT people in the other advertising that you're already doing. Not going out of your way to have a specific campaign that's LGBT focused. It's including LGBT people in anything else that you're doing. So if you have a family portrait, you have two families together, you have a straight family and you have a gay family. It's very simple. You know, don't go completely crazy about it.
Okay, you know, one of the words that comes to mind, whether or not it's the gay community or any other segment that I'm after, and this is the benign form of it, Jen, which would be I'm profiling in my marketing model the communities that I want to penetrate, right? Now, you've already schooled me on the fact that you want to penetrate the community for purely Business 101 math reasons is one thing, but you need the why part of why you want to get there. And what you're saying is that the word inclusion is more integration than it is interface, that kind of a segmentation?
Yeah, because you have a lot of people who believe that the LGBT community is monolithic. It's just one giant community. Everyone thinks the same. Everyone does the same thing, has the same interest. But when you look at LGBT, it's the one group of people that encompasses all others. So you have every ethnicity. You have people with disabilities. You have people who are veterans. You have men. You have women. So you have all different types of diversity under one LGBT label. And diversity in itself is usually just kind of cherry picking people and just putting them in like, you're in the woman bucket and we're only going to market to you there because you're the woman bucket.
But you know what? I'll tell you what, Jen, what makes that hard, whether or not you're talking about the LGBT community or any other community, is the media's propensity, right, to segment. You know, this community always votes for this party. That community always, to me, and I'm so sick of it, it's almost like, what's the right word, Jen? It's almost like the country has become balkanized. And what I mean by that is that it's almost like the media enables people to pit one group against the other. I'm not supposed to like you because you always vote Democratic. You're not supposed to like me because I always vote Republican. You know, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
The African-American community always, 92% does this, therefore you should think that way about them. And instead of this inclusiveness, to me, it's a constant barrage of driving us apart. Is that being hyperbolic?
No, I think that's pretty accurate. It's a fair statement because a lot of times you see the media portraying LGBT people, they pick either the most horrific circumstances or they pick what they think that the community represents. So most people think that the community is affluent, white, gay male couples. That is so much, couldn't be any further from the truth because you have so many other people that fall under LGBT. It's not just gay white men. So you have that scenario, and then you have the trans community that is notoriously marginalized, way worse than any other part of the community. And any story you see in major media is this trans person just recently got murdered, or this happened, and then you have the media who misidentifies them with the wrong pronouns, or they use different names or like their legal name that they may not be going by, and then they out them. So the media just fuels an already raging fire. It goes on and on,
Jen. I tell you what, they are the masters of taking anecdotal evidence and generalizing to a whole area. And that's what they do.
It's unfortunate.
So let's talk business, right? I mean, let's have a business conversation. So you and I are meeting for the first time and we're simulating the conversation we're having. And my first question to you would be, okay, Jen, there's the LGBT community out there. What is my business? Now I'm going to put the burden on you, right? What is my incentive for marketing to this community?
Depending on what your why is, so we'll just go on the premise that you have a concrete why that's positive and would be beneficial for your business. The incentive is that the buying power, as we talked about before, is $790 billion. And
is that a worldwide number or a United States number?
That's a United States number.
That's a United States number.
That's a United States number. That was as of 2012. And if you rank that number, because people are like, what is 790 billion? You can't compare it because there's nothing to compare it to, but you can. Is you have the Hispanic American community, you have the African American community, and you have the Asian American. And LGBT is number 3 out of those 4.